dedication and commitment, and you have to also have the passion.
Welcome to A Walk in My Shoes. This is your host, Dan Ociel Vasquez, and I am just so happy that you're joining us for another episode for A Walk in My Shoes. And I couldn't be more proud of our guest today. I am super excited to have with us the one and only Dr. Seleshi Asfaw. He is the CEO of the Etss, a nonprofit organization that does so good for the community of Columbus. He is well known here in the city, and he is a wonderful person. And Dr. Seleshi, thank you for accepting our invitation. Thank you for coming. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Well, we just really appreciate your time. We know how busy the work of a CEO could be, and for you taking the time to do this interview for our end participant and to our audience, this is just terrific. So let's just get started. Dr. Seleshi, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do and about Etss.
Yes, thank you so much. As you said, my name is Seleshi Asfaw. I'm the president and CEO and also founding member of Etss, which is Ethiopian Tawahido Social Services. I know Tawahido is really a foreign language. It's an African language, which means all humanity is one, or coming together as one. It's really center and front of our name. It has a big meaning and philosophy that we believe that all humanity is one. And that oneness, which is Tawahido, creates a responsibility for all of us to support each other, to work together for the communities that we are part of. So that's what the name means. And I'm leading and started back in around, I think 20 years ago now, established Etss with my team to help the new Americans or refugee immigrants become self-sufficient, establish roots here, facilitate their integration, education, employment services, community engagement and participation, cultural enrichment program, health prevention and primary health support and access to health care. We have all kinds of services really to make sure that refugee immigrants are productive members of our society.
That is amazing. All of the things that you do, that you hear. But one thing that just catches my attention about you, Dr. Seleshi, is that a lot of people don't realize that you're an actual doctor. You were a former medical doctor in Ethiopia, in your homeland. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, your background? I was reading when I was doing research on your story, and I was reading about the statistics in the time when you were practicing medicine, that there were about 700,000 people to one medical doctor. That's incredible, and you were one of them. Tell us about that.
Really, I think Dan, and really, if I give you my background, yes, I was a medical doctor back in my country, and I have a reason for that why to become a medical doctor. Because I just want to let our youngsters to, share with them is my life principle, which is dreaming. Keep dreaming with clear focus and determination. One day you will be on the top of the mountain. That's what always, which I believe, and that dream drives me to be a medical doctor back home because of the challenges that I have seen in my village. I am grown up in far land from Ethiopia at the foothills of the mountain, one of the highest mountain called the Roof of Africa. That's what I grown up. There was no transportation, there was no school, there was no health clinics at that time. It's just a traditional farm farmers community, and people were really dying left and right because of communicable diseases, which is easily preventable. And I wish all the time that I wish I do something. I wish I become help these people to cure them. I wish I can do this and that. So always it comes into my mind that when even the youngsters, before they reach their first year or second year, they just die because of malaria, because of tuberculosis, because of communicable diseases, diarrhea, all maternal diseases. So that was in my mind, and I was really still in dreaming. So one day my family decided to have a modern school and education, and when I was at 10, their idea was really for me to follow the footsteps of my family to administer as a local governor. And they want me to be really modern educated, and then I have to travel 2 days to to access a modern education. So that's how I have to go there and left your family. I'll be back after 10 months of for summer break. So that's what I get my education. So when I finish my elementary, high school, still out dreaming that challenge. It was in my mind, in my heart, because I have seen the challenge.
Yeah.
So when I finished my high school, the Ethiopian government usually assigned you, if you have the higher score in high school matriculation, you can choose the field that you are looking for.
Oh, wow.
So that moment came, and I right away, I just choose to be a medical doctor. So that was the story, because it was in my heart. Because I was dreaming that.
Wow.
So I graduated from medical doctor, and I said, when they are placing, I said, no, I want to go back to my village, and I want to help my people, because I have seen that problem. Went there, and my goodness, that was the most rewardable and happiest moment in my life. Helping 60 to 70 patients every day.
Wow.
And I see the change, I see the impact, and my goodness, I was so happy. And then the Minister of Health, looking my dedication and impact, they promoted me to be the director of the health department of the region. And that gives me another access to see the whole policy, to do draft policies and the infrastructure, the hospital system, the clinics. That also another opportunity. So really, I was very enjoying my profession. Then, unfortunately, the government of Ethiopia changed and taken over by a guerrilla movement, in which believe on ethnic politics, and it was really devastating for my country. And I was really vocal in voicing they didn't like it, so they pushed out from my country. I was persecuted.
Oh, wow.
And then I left my country, which is really.
How old were you?
At that time, I was about 31, 32 years old.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So I was pushed out, and so I have no choice. I have to leave because all my friends were in prison. Some was killed. So I just fly to save my life, and my family went to Belgium. From Belgium, I had a family here in Columbus. They came as a refugee. Then I followed them. We came here in Columbus. We settled. Again, I see another challenge, and the system itself is challenging myself and my family. I see the children, because refugee immigrant families say they don't have the access to technology or computer or to help their kids in their homeworks, because they themselves have a language barrier.
So at that time, you were already married and you had children, and you brought them with you from Belgium.
Yes, brought them. Yeah.
How many kids did you have?
I have 2 kids.
Wow.
2 kids, and graduated here from Ohio State University. My son is now he's doing his master's degree. Actually, he was managing the AMP program here in Columbus.
Oh, wow.
And program actually.
Yeah.
So I'm really fortunate, because back in Ethiopia I was very successful in my profession, and my dream was true. And then when I came here, I see those challenges. Even the system, I thought that I was an educated person, but I was challenged really. My family, and there was no access to information. There was no any social groups to guide you how to really connect with medical profession. I tried to study by myself and sit for the first test to be a medical doctor. But when I see the challenge in the community, there was no, culturally appropriate services. There was a service gaps. There was discrimination. There was inequalities. So I see really we are losing a generation.
Yeah.
The high school rate, dropout, graduation was really because these children was influenced by their peers. No one is assisting. They are frustrated. They look them different because they have a different culture and language. So that's what that challenge. And again, I try to dream. I keep dreaming to say, I wish I can help these kids.
I love that.
I wish I could help the refugee immigrant community, that they are welcomed and get the proper support so that they become productive members of our society. That's why the idea of having an institution born in my heart and my team. So I really dedicated and committed to start ETSS. I drafted the first vision in 1999, shared that vision with my team, that the future team that I was looking for, build our team and put together in all our infrastructure and then try to communicate with our funders and partners. That's what I'm telling my youngster here. When we are young, we have a lot of distractions. The families want you to be, the governor, the family wants you to be an engineer or maybe a doctor or a lot of, and your peers will pressure you. There are obstacles. So what I'm advising them is really, they have to start from their internal self, what they want to be. And it's based on the challenges and issues that they are looking around their neighbors. So that, let them process it inside and build that vision and communicate with their team and start to implement. Because leadership is, a leader is really a leader who can build his own vision and communicate that with your team and implement with his team. He cannot do everything by himself,
Right.
But you have to use your brain as the thought initiator, and then you have to have your passion deeply inside your heart, and also your gut, have to determination and courage, and then you can. So I have another analogy of body and then visions how to work.
Okay.
So I usually use your brain as your head, as a vision creator, right? And then tongue and your mouth is as a communicator, because you have to communicate that vision to your team, right? And use your arms as a team or collaborator or building partnership, because look, if you lose one of your thumb, it's really hard to coordinate your fingers.
Right.
So it tells you that your fingers, your arm, and your hands are how collaboration, partnership, and teamwork is so important.
Wow.
And then your heart, your passion. You have to have a passion. That is really the driving, engine every morning that you wake up, because of your passion. You have to build that passion, and that is your heart. And then your gut, determination and courage. And your legs is an action and leadership. So try to remember that way. Your body, just to fix, your brain is really looking, observing, identifying issues and challenges. Put together your strategic direction. Use your brain. And then communicate. That is your lips and mouths or tongues are there communicating, because a leader has to be a good communicator.
Absolutely, yes.
Build your team. You cannot do it everything.
Absolutely.
Teamwork that makes you really successful. And then you have courage, determination, and then leadership. So when I started my program, I developed on evidence-based, actually, on 5 key areas of socioeconomic development. The first one is education.
Okay. Because
education is key to succeed in your life and in school. Education is very important. Yes. Of course, adding leadership. That's what this leadership and programs that we are providing these youngsters is to equip them with skills and leadership, because education without leadership, it cannot really, drive you through your life journey. Because, success is a journey. It's not a destination. So you need that education. Education is so important, and leadership. And the second is the economic stability, because our refugee immigrants, we want to be economically stabilized by having their employment, adult literacy programs like English as second language, citizenship classes, computer literacy, health literacy is so important. And then you provide them the basic skills, job skills, soft skills, teamwork, communication. Very important for the newcomers to come here. Then find them a job. Once refugees get a job, that is really life begin in America. So that they will be, because they are hardworking, they have values, they have cultures. They start one job from another job, and you can see them within 3 years they will buy their dream house or cars, and they just excel. So economic stability is so important.
Absolutely.
The third part that we design our program is health, access to primary care, access to health care, health literacy. That's what we build our program, especially our mental health and wellness. Trauma-informed care is really a very good program that we are building in. And the other program that we designed is the community participation and engagement, because our people, they are really isolated. They are not participating in their neighborhoods. They are not working in their groups, so that civic engagement, participation in the political, using their rights or voting, all those kind of things, and then neighborhood and safety environment. So those are the 5 key areas that we build our program. So that's what a nutshell of what Etss and leadership is.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, you share so much already, and I love what you're sharing about vision and about heart. Especially, we have so many young people that are at the starting point of their careers and of their lives, right? And you talked about looking internally first. And I remember reading once, I can't remember the author, but he was talking about the most important thing you can do is to take some time, lock yourself somewhere, and really, really determine what you want to do. Try to find out your passion. What would you say to the young people, Dr. Seleshi? How can they find their passion in life? How can they find what they are called to do, their calling?
Yeah. They will find it. It is inside them. It's just a matter of just go to a good, safe, isolated, peaceful room, and close your eyes and search it. You will find it. It is there inside, inside your. I mean, you can, look, because when you look around you, you will observe some challenges and issues, because we are humans created really to grow and prosper. So you will see that challenges in your neighborhood starts from your family. So think that overnight, in the morning, and that become, because what can I do that makes me feel good?
Oh, that's
so
great.
When you think that, it becomes from your inside, and I wish I can solve this problem. That is really what you are building your passion.
Yeah.
And then we try to see some kind of change and development. My goodness, it continues, exploding from inside out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I have a question for you, Dr. Seleshi. Do you have a favorite word? Do you have a favorite word? Is there a word that is your favorite?
Oh, my it's a good question. Love each other. I really, we humans, we have to love each other first. Love yourself first.
Yeah.
And that's really my passion, because, we have to love each other. We are not different. We are one.
Yes. Yes. Wow. That's very good. That's very good. Thank you so much. During your time as a CEO, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see in today's work placements and in the society as a CEO? What are some of the biggest challenges you face?
One of the biggest challenges as CEO is, when the country don't have leadership and not coming as a unified, cohesive society, it influences you. Look, when COVID-19 came, we were not prepared. And even after it came, there was no leadership. That worries me because, when people are not get the proper leadership, and then when you hear something from your higher leadership, some divisive words, that turns in the society to fight each other, which is a worse that for a fall of a country. So I'm worried about in every day because when you have a leadership, based on the right information, who can create policy, because that policy affects you, each of us, and we have seen that in the COVID-19 pandemic handling, or race and racism nowadays, really a big challenge that now is coming. Of course, when in your when it comes to your own organization, of course you are worried. You want to make sure that your staff keep continue working the good thing, the mission that we created together. To be alive and impact the life of so many individuals, because we serve between 8,000, 10,000 people every year, because they depend on us. So this, I have over 100 employees and 30 locations around Central Ohio.
Wow.
So I want that infrastructure keep going and do what we are, designing the mission, the vision that we are, because we don't have any guarantee flow of revenue from the federal government, and because we live every day by writing grants and competing. So that's what day to day or overnight it worries you, that you want to make sure that your staff, your experienced staff, your passionate staff continue the jobs that they are doing to work. But for this, really, you need leadership from the highest level to the lowest level, coordination, partnership, so that you will have a healthy community that you can build in, and then you can play. But if you don't have peace and always, fighting each other, then you don't have space, you don't have peace, and there is no, vision and mission that you are going to implement. So that's what I look at it, really, the challenge in our society. And the global challenge is coming now. Environmental challenges are coming now. Pandemics are coming now. Yeah. People are moving from right and left, because our globe is now in our village, in our hands now. Any in a microsecond happen far in the world, you can really right away you can get that kind of thing. So for that kind of global thing, we need global leadership. Really, we know how to live together, because whether we like it or not, that the future is togetherness, not division. So I don't like that kind of divisive leadership for the whole world, for our country here in the United States, because it will hurt us.
Right.
So that's what the young generation have to be prepared. They have to be prepared and know where their places are. Leadership is important. Educate themselves, equip with skills. In the future technology, the artificial intelligence is coming now. So they have to adapt. They have to really run fast to be positioned themselves in this competitive world. Yes. Because there are so many countries, and the young generation is really, they are becoming fast in mathematics, science, and technology. They are far away from us. Yeah. So we have to equip our children to be competitive rather than fighting with each other, pointing each other. No, we don't need that kind of leadership. What we need is really a global leadership, how to live together, and also bring the country, United States, together, so that the future of our children will be, bright.
Yes. Looking forward. Now let's take a moment and let's look backward. Okay, so if you could go back in time and you would to start all over again from when you were a teenager, what things would you not do again? What are some of the things that you wouldn't do again if you could go back?
Yes, in my teenager, in our country, there was a change came to overthrow the king, and at that time there was this ideology called socialism came in and infused to Ethiopia, and all the teenagers, we want to become communist, and we want to really be, this is the right ideology to build the country. So all of us, we throw stones against that good government and we destroy our government.
Wow.
And we got that consequences. The military government came, my goodness, right and left, killed the generation. Bloodshed came right and left. And then after that, this ethnic group came again. We left our country, our beloved country, pushed out from our country in millions and millions because as a teenagers, we couldn't see, because emotion drives you without looking right and left. We made mistakes.
Wow.
If I was mature that time, we will not do that. That was not the way. We destroyed our generation, actually. Our generation, very, very dynamic, but they think that that was a way to improve the country's, wealth and poverty. But it destroys really the whole thing. So I wish on that generation that I got what I know now, rather than by emotion and destroy for the 2,000 years of history, and then to build carbon copy philosophy, which is not really fit for Ethiopia. And that was really what
Wow.
I go back. I will not join that.
I think you touched a very key. You touched a nerve, very key. You mentioned that sometimes we are led by emotions, and at that time, with what you live, which by the way, you should have a movie about your life because I think it's amazing what you've lived through. But
Yeah.
you said you and the young people, your generation at that time, were led by emotion, and I think we have a lot of that today. What can a young person do to control their emotions? Is there anything that we can do so that we're not ruled by emotions but by rationale as well?
Equip yourself with the right information. There are so many disinformation nowadays. We are fortunate having Facebook, social media, technology, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, which is really a good positive. But the negative is more way that people use this opportunity to really infuse and divert the young generation. It's disinformation. So we need really to teach our kids how to use social media, digital information, technology. I think even this AMP program, we have to include that media relations and technology, how to use appropriately. That disinformation is what is killing us. So that's my advice. Information is you have to really read, research, and also ask your elders. They are cool down. They can, that's what, because we lose that adult mentoring part. We lose our faith. Before, we are a moral society. When we are drifting away from that, there is nothing that we are going to fear. And then that emotion leads you to the wrong direction. So interaction with adults and mentoring is really very important. Try to get the right information. Check. Don't take one information is right. Balance it.
I agree.
And see it from the culturally appropriate way. See that, you and me may differ by, looking this object. You may look at the different way, I may look at the different way. You have to try to look from his viewpoint or from his eyes back. Try to put yourself, for example, when we are playing a chess, you move the first move. Okay. Then when your opponent is moving the other part, you have to see from his own side why he moves that, so that you can try to get it in your brain, understand what he's thinking.
Absolutely.
So don't be emotional before you can understand what your friend's thinking is, because he may think that way. Don't criticize. Don't jump into criticize that he's wrong, but try to understand from his side, and then try to bring your friend to look at from also to my side, so that don't drive by wrong information. Take an informed decision.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So don't just take the first thing that comes to your mind, but or that comes to your screen. Do some research, do some homework, right? And make sure that this information is accurate and is true, because now it's so easy for everybody to just share whatever they think might be the truth. So this is so great. Are you a chess player? Do you play chess?
Yes, I love chess. When when I try to distract if I'm stressed, distract something, then I
I'm a chess player as well. I love the game. Yeah, that's great. Maybe one day we can get a game going. I love that. Well, now going back to the questions. Now a question: if you could go back again, what are some of the things that you would do again? What would you repeat?
Oh, why? That I told you that medical field that I was treating thousands and thousands of people. That was the most rewarding in my life. I really, it was my time contributing and giving back to my community and giving forward to my community because in our country, the government pay your tuition free. Okay. So that was my prime time to give back. And I was in that fruit of happiness. Wow. And this group came and tried me out. I was very, very, very sad. So you said you were serving
up to 70 people a day? That's incredible.
Because as I told you, because thousands and thousands of people are really in trouble. There's no any, let alone doctors, even nurses and health assistants. We are shortage of manpower. So we do overnight, and I never say I'm tired because the happiness, because you enjoy. That's what don't dream really. If you want to collect money or to be rich in many ways, then those that's not your field. In the non-profit area, on the public, areas, that really your satisfaction, your wealth, is by the impact, by how many lives that you change, impacted. So I think that was my my greatest happiness in my life.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. I can only imagine how rewarding that must be, knowing that you have changed lives, that you have helped somebody else, that some of them, I'm sure, they couldn't pay you back. I think it was Mother Teresa that said that it's something to help those that can help you back, but it's a lot better to help those that they cannot help you back. And
that is a thing.
Yeah,
that paying forward is the best word to say, maybe, because if you do something and then it's like scratching my back, I'll scratch your back. No, you have to. That's what that passion is doing, not for social status or for money, but for things that you believe in. That's what passion is.
Wow.
Really.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Well, we're getting questions in from our participants. So again, if you're watching through Facebook Live or if you're watching through Zoom, and if you have questions, we will take the questions. If you want to ask Dr. Seleshi, we'll be happy to ask the questions right now. One of the questions that just came in: do you miss practicing medicine? Would you practice medicine again if you have chance and opportunity to do so?
Yes, I missed it but when I came here, I talked to many of my friends who practicing medicine. Really, that job satisfaction is not here. Here, you deal more on chronic problems, cancers, diabetics, and hypertension, high blood pressure, or cholesterol, which there is no any cure or permanent solutions. Just you keep going and prescribing from one drug to another drug. When I came in my first job before establishing Etss, was working in a pharmaceutical company to read prescriptions, and my goodness, when I see that prescriptions for one patient, a basket full of drugs, and I said, my goodness, we are poisoning our body. Wow. So that was not really medicine here. I will not choose to practice medicine here because I don't see the outcome and impact. But back home, yes, I missed that. Wow. Managing and first I start doing practicing, and then in a managerial level I become the higher position. I enjoyed really. I enjoyed, and it was really a rewarding thing. But here, I would not wish that to practice medicine.
I understand. What or who was your biggest inspiration during your teenage years?
Oh, my dad. he was he was innovative. He was wishing me to be big,
Mm-hmm.
and they do sacrifice. Look, imagine sending your child. I was the only actually to get that opportunity to get modern educated in our whole district and village. Over 300,000 people and children without any education. But they dedicated for me to, looking the future is, the education is key. So he was very far-sighted, and I learned leadership from him. Yeah, I see how he was governing the local people. And my mom, I learned from her the charity, the kindness. She was very, very generous mom. So yeah, my family is really the source of my pride, and my dad was really my inspiration because in the village he was the first actually to brought radio. There was no radio at that time, and,
Wow.
and everybody was all the night to listen. It was a miracle, and he was also innovating, how to the chicken farms and teaching the others different ways. I mean, he was really and community garden. So I learned his way of leadership and innovations.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Sounds like he was a great man. Is he still alive?
Yes. No, he passed away. Unfortunately, I was here. I couldn't go back
Oh.
because of the political situation. So he passed away. I was really very, very sad.
How is the
Yeah.
situation now in Ethiopia? Is Ethiopia more stable now? Is it safe to visit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just go last
Oh wow.
year because that government who pushed me throughout me away from my country overthrown by the people, and then the new administration came, a new prime minister. My goodness, this guy is really amazing. He called all the diaspora who has left our country because of politics. He called everyone. I went there back. I see my mom, my brother, my sisters, my
Wow.
family. I went to the health institutions of which I was managing, my former employee. I enjoyed it really. I went back and then planning to go back again
Oh yeah.
now because there are some challenges in the change now because those previous group they didn't let go. Still, they are creating trouble. But I think the country is in the right direction now.
That's wonderful. It's good to hear. The people of Ethiopia
Yeah,
have a long, long history, and
exactly.
it's a country that deserves the best.
Yeah, yeah. If sooner, the tourists love to go there, and still, there are so many things that you can see in Ethiopia: nature, ancient history,
History.
all the king. Yeah, history. My goodness, that's the humanity where it comes
Yeah.
from, and his civilization. So it's an amazing country.
Okay, so I was in the Middle East about a couple of years ago, and they were talking
Mm.
about the famous Ark of the Covenant, and many people believe that it's in Ethiopia nowadays. Do you believe it's in
Yeah,
Ethiopia?
yeah. I strongly believe it because there are so many evidences that you can prove. In the olden times, the Ark of Covenant was seen by public actually from
Oh
distance.
wow,
Now there was some attempts to steal, and now it's only secluded by only one monk who guarded it, and even in a secret place, they will tell you, yeah, it is here, but no, they
that's
are
incredible.
somewhere.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's, it it is
Now,
there.
doctor, a lot of people don't realize that Columbus, Ohio, it's one of, if not the biggest refugee city for immigrants from Ethiopia.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. Many people don't know because the Ethiopians are not loud. They are not saying this and that. I mean, compared to our Somali brothers and sisters, but the Ethiopians are quiet and just integrated and doing their job. But there are about 10 churches, more than 10 churches of
Oh
Ethiopians
wow,
origin. You can see how the community is large. I mean, some of them even in the Somali community because Ethiopia, because that is the center in the Horn of Africa. There is Somali Ethiopians, there are Eritrean Ethiopians, there are, in the region, it's really big in that area, and then all the refugee immigrants in that area came to Columbus. So that's the largest group that we have. Of course, when we begin our program was targeting Ethiopians, but now in 2005, we opened to all refugee
Yeah.
immigrants, and we're serving them 57 countries
Well,
nowadays.
there's a question that came along those lines. So let me get that question. Bill V asks, "What do you find to be the most rewarding services ETSS provides here in Columbus?"
My youth program. My goodness, we started from that because, as I told you, education is a
Uh-huh.
key. Our youth program is now expanding. There was 25 kids. Now we are serving more than 1,400
Wow.
kids. We start with after school program. Now we have about 17 activities. STEM, social emotional learning, science and STEM programs, cultural enrichment. The cultural enrichment piece is really where our parents are looking for, because we teach them the language, their culture, where they came from, so that they can proud on their own culture, cultural performances that they did. It's really growing from time to time, adding more innovative. We included now trauma-informed care for our youth program, a community garden around each site. There was only one site. Now we have 10 sites for the youth program alone. We have partners with Columbus City Schools, with CLC, as you know, and with all the different districts in Central Ohio. We have a lot of partners, about 69. They came and really teach, and like Girl Scouts and all the YMCA and others. So really, the youth program is impacting youngsters and generation, because we start from 1 year old, building from 5 to 13 years old, and then high school program, and even college. When they go college, we follow them. They become tutoring, they do mentoring, they got summer jobs or part-time jobs. It's just comprehensive, really. So I enjoyed I was very, very happy with our youth program. And of course, the employment program is also really impacting on the financial empowerment, and that's also on the domestic violence. The mental health. Now we started a new program called Community Navigators for mental health. Really, that also, we have a lot of challenges and trauma in our community. So that is going now, a new initiative. I think all of them are really great, but the youth program is we're unique on that, actually, and we're the largest and serving 1,400 youth in Central
That's
Ohio.
amazing. That's amazing. Well, you guys are doing a lot of great job. Now, for the people that are watching, where can they find out more about ETSS and what we're doing?
Yes, use our you can Google our website, www.ethiops.org. Follow our Facebook. Our Facebook is really very active. Every day's activities is posted. Use our post, Facebook, Twitters, and Instagram. You can find us on that.
We'll share your link, and we'll share your page with all of our audience, so whoever wants to follow, they can connect with us as well.
Our youth summit is coming this August 7th. Yes. It's the biggest, largest youth summit. My goodness, I'm going to miss that. Coming together, the kids eat together, they perform together, they compete with soccer, and my goodness, the music. We're going to miss this year. The first virtual youth summit is going to happen next Friday.
Yes, I think we CLC is also invited to that, and we're excited for our youth to be a part of it. Yes, it's the youth conference for the youth, by the youth, August 7th, 1 to 4 p.m. via Zoom. So we're looking forward to that. Now, Dr. Seleshi, I want to ask you some fun questions, okay? So we're going to go into some fun questions. If you could have a superpower, what would that be?
I'll go to explore another world.
To explore another world, okay.
Explore another sister planet of Earth.
That would be fantastic. I would like that too.
Our Earth is really, we are really taking our resources, and maybe there is a fear that the world is changing its axis. So before that, I want to really find that the sister Earth somewhere in the planet.
That would be fantastic. I think I would like that too. Now, do you like football, soccer?
No. Soccer and volleyball and tennis. That's what I like. football that the Americans play, that's not
Right,
our
right.
thing.
That's what I was asking you about the football, soccer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
What?
the soccer is that's what in all the whole Africa, third world, we
Okay.
love
Which one do
soccer.
you prefer? Do you prefer the English soccer or the Spanish soccer or Italian?
The, I think the English and the European soccer is more popular but the English soccer is more popular in
Yeah,
Ethiopia, and
they're big.
that's what. Yeah,
Do you have a?
Liverpool,
Are
Arsenal.
you a Liverpool fan?
No, I'm City
Manchester City.
Manchester.
Okay, okay, that's great. Well,
My son loves and I follow him.
I'm also a big soccer fan. My team was Manchester United because I had a friend that actually
Really?
played for Manchester United about 10 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent, excellent. Yeah, they are good
yeah.
teams. I mean, then City, and they are good.
Okay, another question, Dr. Seleshi. If you were a type of food, what type of food would you be? If you
If
were
what?
a type of food, something that you eat, food, what type of food would you be? Like pizza, hamburger? Yeah, if
Oh,
you were.
oh, oh no, I will be my Ethiopian food.
That's great. Now, is
It's spicy combination. You have all the different combos coming together and really sweet and spicy and tasty. That's what
is
I
there a
will be.
place here in Columbus where we can find authentic Ethiopian food?
Yeah, yeah. The Lalibela Ethiopian restaurant on Hamilton and East Main, at the corner of Hamilton and East Main, is a very
Oh, that's
authentic
great to know.
Ethiopian restaurant. Also, yeah, on the east side, I mean, on the northeast also there is another Ethiopian restaurant who's really, really popular on Cleveland and what is the corner? I think Cleveland and Ennis
Okay.
area. There is also another Ethiopian
Is
restaurant.
Ethiopian food spicy?
Yes, it is
Oh,
spicy.
nice.
You will
I
love
like
it.
spicy. You see, I'm Mexican, so I like spicy
Oh,
food.
I will love it. Mexican will love it. I was in Mexico 2 times, so yeah, yeah. I love to travel, around the world. I've seen Mexico. I was in Guatemala. I was Belize. I was in Mexico, of course. And then I traveled the whole United States except
Oh my
Alaska.
goodness, that's amazing. What part of
Yeah,
Mexico did you
yeah.
visit?
The city, and then also those ancient pyramids that the sea one.
Tenochtitlan
Yeah,
and all those areas.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, let me ask. I want to give this time for our youth to see if they have any questions or any concerns. So make sure, please go ahead and turn in your questions, and this is your opportunity to ask Dr. Seleshi anything you wanted to ask. So, Dr. Seleshi, a question for you. What are some of the qualities that, let's say, a young person comes to you and they see you in your role as a CEO of a nonprofit organization, and they say, you know what, I want to be just like you. What are some of the things that they should prepare? What are some of the things that qualities or skills that they could develop to be a CEO?
Yeah, well, the first thing that you have to be visionary. You have to be open and a good communicator, because you cannot seclude yourself from the people. You have to have an open door policy. Always, the people admire, by the innovation and the visions that we brought. You started from small things and build up. It's really a growth mode that we're following. You cannot stop and wait until crisis will come. You have to see, Friday while you are on Monday. So I think, the first thing that, someone comes to me is that the openness and ready to learn. You cannot expect everyone has a skill. But if you are open as a human, you have the potential. I believe that everyone has their own potential and skill. And I try to find that potential before, you judge them, oh, no, he cannot do it. Every one of us have a special capacity and capability. And leader has to find that and assign in that strengths and then help them in his weaknesses. So, I really love for when people comes in openness, yes, I can do this, but I cannot. And that gives you where to help and where to support and then where to encourage someone.
So what's your opinion on this? If a person recognizes their weaknesses and their strengths, where should they focus their time? Should they focus on their weaknesses or should they focus on their strengths?
Yeah, I think in my experience they have to focus on their strengths, because their weaknesses usually it's really hard. Once it is given a weakness, of course you can improve it, but build your strengths so that you'll focus on that and do something which you are specialized, rather than spending on your weaknesses to really round like a dog is trying to bite its tail in a circle. But through time you can improve it. Of course, your weaknesses. I mean, you can, but at least if you can focus on your strengths and improve that, you have something that is your strengths. Then after that, you can build on your weaknesses and bring it back and fill it the gap. But my experience is once it is a weakness, it takes time to bring it back. So focus on that. What we have a good skill. Through time, you can learn and improve your weaknesses.
That's terrific advice. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I agree with you too. Why waste time on something that you're not good at when you can improve what you're good at, and you most likely will enjoy doing what you're good at.
Right.
So,
exactly.
What I'm gathering, so a lot of what you say and what you do is you have to be a people person, and you have to know how to relate to people. What are some of your advices for young people? How can they develop their people skills?
Yeah, it's really difficult to build it. I think sometimes it's natural, but it's learning. As I told you, that if you are open, if your heart is open, really humans are also willing to help you how to develop those skills. They can help you encourage, like our kids, from a small kid to really, how the families are encouraging them to walk and stand and run. Everybody's clapping. For example, it is a whole village who really raise us, and they are allowed to punish us even. So if you are trying from your side, struggling, you may, for example, the child when he tries to walk, he will fall in his first, but you tried again and wake up. So, making a mistake and failing is really a good thing for you, because you learn 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, even 100 times. You have to learn it from your failures. So don't be afraid, be open, and then that way, everybody can help you to build your personal skills, because you can learn it. There are some naturally gifted people by nature, and find your way. If you are a person's people, the non-profit world is really the right place to work with. If you are not a people person, for example, some accountants or number people, who is really, their number, that's their capacity. They are good at that, putting the numbers and calculating all those. That their mind is specialized in that area. So it's really hard to bring them, to make them to people's person. There are some naturally gifted, in origin, really somewhere. When you get the right environment, it grows up and really makes you who you are. So don't afraid, just ask, try and fail, and then rise up, and then people will help you how to develop your skill.
That is such a good advice. I've never seen a child falling in the ground saying, I'm not going to try again. I give up. I'm not going to walk. No, right? It's a natural.
Exactly. So that's difficult really for people. The bad thing is that you are afraid to fail and then you don't want to try it. No, just try it. fail and then run from the first and second, then you can make it.
I agree. That's very very true. What are
Exactly.
some what are
So,
some of the greatest
um,
fears that you had to face, that you had to overcome?
you mean the greatest what?
Fears
Uh-huh.
that you had to overcome during your career.
Yes. Oh, when I start this organization, one of the greatest fear that because we get resources from different groups and established a good structure and program and services, and then oh my goodness, depend on especially we depend on government grants. It's 5%. Actually, it was 95% of our funding or from the
Wow.
government, either from federal, from local foundations, others. So when I see that, that was my greatest fear. And I said, look, I have to diversify the funding sources of ETSS. That was, I was working for the last 10 years, really to diversify, because if we fail on this lost, then your organization will not wipe out and just empty-handed. So I look at that I think a positive fear is always good. So we were strategizing to diversify our funding. Okay, what are the foundations and corporate foundations, individual donors, and then to balance at least the government. So now at least about 20% from 95% now, we build another 20% from other funding
Wow.
sources so that we try to balance that. So I think my fear is that always, I was okay. I mean, I'm depending on this grant. If that stops overnight, then what can I do?
Right.
So that was my greatest fear overnight. So now we try to really diversifying our funding sources. So, for example, we lost two big grants, but since we are prepared, so it didn't really hurt you that much. Of course, you lose something, but the basic infrastructure is still intact. So you have to really you have to fear a good fears, but don't afraid. Oh yeah, but you have to really act and make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, that is fantastic. Dr. Seleshi, I can't really tell you how much I really appreciate your time
Thank you.
and your wisdom you've shared with us and the stories you share with us. They are inspiring. I am living inspired this program, knowing that our dreams can come true,
Uh,
as you have seen it in your life several times. I mean, you had the dream of becoming a medical doctor, you had the dream of helping your people, you have the dream of starting your own nonprofit to help others, and you are fulfilling those dreams. So, um,
yeah,
thank you so much.
yeah. For our kids, to understand. Remember this. What I talk a lot, but keep dreaming with clear vision and determination. One day you will be on the top of the mountain. That's my reading
I
message and
love
life
that.
principle that I want people.
Keep on dreaming,
All
and
right.
one day you will be on top of the mountain. I love that. Somebody needs to tweet that out this afternoon. Somebody needs to put that on Facebook, or if you don't have none of that, fax it to somebody. Anyway, we're just so happy, Dr. Seleshi, for having you with us. We really appreciate it. Anything else you would like to say to the youth?
I think the future is yours. You see my background, 2 days to get in institutions education. You are the luckiest in your neighbor. There is school. And now at home with this technology, everything is coming to you. Use this opportunity and excel and strive to grow and to lead. That's my message for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Salisi. We have come to the end of our show today, and it's been really enjoyable. We really thank you, and we wish you the best. We wish you the best for ETSS, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. To all
Thank
of
you.
our audience,
Thank you, Dan, everybody.
yes, thank you. We'll see you again next week at 1 o'clock, A Walk in My Shoes. So stay put and have a great day, everybody.